Hey, good evening everybody. Tonight on BuckyRabelGuitars we're going to be replacing a bone nut on a Fender Squire P-Bass. So basically on the bass here, big section of the bone nut is broken off there, leaving the bottom two strings to just lay right up against the fretboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this bone nut. I'm going to go ahead and move you in a little bit closer, you can see, but before we get started on that, first thing we want to do is loosen up all strings and get them out of the way. Alright, next what we're going to want to do is I have some center punches here, and I have one of my center punches actually fits perfect in the hole there. So we're going to keep that straight. Basically just going to hold the center punch in here right up against the bone nut there. Just small hammer, nice gentle taps. Go ahead and get that to pop on out of there. Get the old one out. Now once the old nut is out, I want to clean the surface and prep it really good here. So I'm just going to use a paper towel with some hot water on the edge. I'm going to get in here with some hot water. Just clean this out good. We don't really want to use any chemicals in there. Don't want to sand it. Don't want to file it. If we do, then the new one may not fit correctly. So you want to get in there and get it nice and clean, but you also don't want to do anything abrasive. We've got a genuine Fender bone nut here in the package. So I'm going to unpack this. Test fit it first. Always test fit everything first. As you can see here, there's the bigger string, and then they get down smaller, so it's pretty obvious which way it goes in. Just set it on, see if it drops in. Kind of snug. I could probably try to go from one end in and tap it. Don't want to risk breaking it. So looking from the top down, it could go if we were to give it some finesse. So that's a pretty tight fit. Being that's such a tight fit, I'm not going to use any glue on this. But I'll tell you what I am going to do is slightly file just the edges, not the side. Don't want to file the side, but I'm going to file just these two bottom edges very slightly, just to give it a little bit of an angle that's going to help it seat into the hole. Not a lot, just a little bit. Just enough to give it that little bit of finesse that it needs to pop in. We don't want it out of shape at all. We don't want to take away too much. We just want just a little bit of an angle on there. And that little bit of dust from sanding it might help it pop down a little bit. You know, again, make sure your large string is all the way at the top, small string is at the bottom. You want to center it. One thing to keep in mind, these are usually a little bit wider than the neck. They may need to be trimmed when you're done, or just go ahead and leave it as is. Let it stick out just a tiny bit on either end. It doesn't do any harm at all. I'm going to line it up as good as you can. Get it centered. Just give it a little bit of muscle there. Get it part way in. As of right now, I don't know if you can see there, it's about halfway in. It's straight, front to back, straight left to right. It's about halfway in. So we're going to need to give it some love taps here. So what we're going to do is move the headstock down here, move the neck down a little bit so that we've got some support here where we'd like to, you know, give it a little bit of the Tanya Harding. So first things first, I don't want to hammer on that bone nut, so I'm going to go ahead and get something to go in between them. Use a microfiber cloth as an example. I can set this over and still leave it so I can kind of see the edge of where it's at a little bit. Start in the middle. Work my way back and forth with some gentle taps. Just gentle. Definitely don't want to break it. lot of times you can tell by the sound when it gets to the bottom. Hear that right in the middle? That's a good solid sound in the middle. So the center is I would imagine, is down all the way. Sides not quite so much yet. There we go. Nice even sound all the way across. I want to take a look again. Get up close here. Make sure that it's seated all the way. Seated all the way in the front. Let's take a look at the back side here. Oh, looks like we got a gap. Move the camera in here so you can see that. Not sure if you can see the gap right there. So the large string side needs to go in just a little bit further. Bring that up here a little closer so I got some more power when I hit that there. Just come back with the small hammer again. Line this up. We're going to give her just a little more on the big side. Sounded like it went in. Oh yeah, absolutely perfect. So as you can see here, big side is in good. Turn it over nice and easy here. And as you can see, small side is in good too. Nice and centered. Should work for us. All right, so that should do it for the bone nut replacement. Got the old one out. Got the new one in, nice and seated all the way across. One thing I got to do on here that it's just kind of driving me a little crazy is these dice. Okay, I like the dice, you know, kind of 1982-ish. But I found if you use one of these carabiners, you can go right underneath. And you don't have to worry about scratching the pick guard. Don't have to worry about scratching the guitar. You can get underneath some of these knobs with these and you can just pop up a little bit and it makes the knobs come off really easy. So just something to keep in mind if you ever need assistance getting knobs off. Carabiner fits right on there. Works pretty darn well, I must say so myself. And to replace those, we have two of the original Fender chrome knobs. So chrome knobs are slightly different. They don't just slide on and off. They have a small flathead screw. So turn this down, put the screw on. I have a small screwdriver here ready for this. It's just a little tiny flathead. And get in here, tighten the screw up. Got a good knob back here now. And go ahead and do the same on the front side. For the volume, front's the volume, rear's the tone. Get this guy snugged on there. And there we go. Nice new knobs on there. Definitely like the look of that better myself. Kind of matches the guitar a little bit with the chrome. Got the chrome up here. Before we put strings on it, I'm going to go ahead and polish the frets. I want to get the frets polished. I want to wax the body, clean the pick guard, flip it over, give it a nice good wax on the back, clean the neck good. And at that point, she'll be ready to restring and on to its next adventure.